back, everybody. I'm Kevin.
I'm Karen.
And today we are at
The
Crooked Can in Winter Garden, Florida. So, another beer tasting, and so no better a place for a beer tasting than at a brewery, right? We've been here a few times. We kind of like this place. Haven't been here in a while, but so it's in a place called Plant Market. So it's a market, and one end of it is anchored by Crooked Can Brewery that they started in 2015. So the three owners went on a trip, I guess, to Colorado and visited the Oscar Blues Brewing Company and came back home and said, we need to start a brewery here in Winter Garden. And so they did, lucky for us. Pretty busy place. Always busy on the weekends.
Always busy, yeah.
And so we're going to do...
They print money here.
They print money here. So we figured we'd drag you along and do a beer tasting, although we just finished a big old tin, it comes in a tin, of buffalo mac and cheese. There's a place here called Macked Out.
Macked Out.
Which does all kinds of great mac and cheese.
See, now I feel like I have
and there's
cheese still.
You do, you got a bunch. So I'm not sure if we can do a valid beer tasting with buffalo mac and cheese burn going on, but we'll try. So we've got a couple beers already here. It's the Workaholic, and it's an American Pale Ale. I think it's 5.6% ABV. You could look over my shoulder at the sign and see what ABV it is.
5.4%.
5.4%. See, so it's low enough of an ABV where you could drink that you could drink it while you're at work. That's why they call it the Workaholic. No,
really?
That's not what they meant by that. I thought that was the theme. So, anyways, an American Pale Ale. We thought we'd start off with this. There is a sour here that we were planning to do a tasting of, and that's our main event. But we figured since we were going to wash down the buffalo mac and cheese with a pale ale, we figured we'd bring you along with us. Yeah, share it with you. Oh, you always share. Anyways, let's go in. You're gonna taste it, or you're gonna smell it first?
Well, I'm gonna cheers first.
Cheers. I get orange.
I get orange.
Orange. So dark gold. Not a clear beer. You can't see through it.
Orange and hops.
I get orange, and when you say orange and hops,
bitter.
not
bitter
not
hops.
fruity from the hops, or fruity from the hops.
I don't know.
I get ever so slightly bitterness, but I get mostly.
I don't think it's really bitter.
No, not very bitter. But you can taste the bitterness from hops. So there is some. They did use some hops with bittering, and it's very dry on the back end. So after you swallow, you can almost feel that like drying sensation that stays there. But I get a simple orange with simple orange with a little bit of bittering. So how sweet would you say it is? Not very.
Not super sweet.
It's almost like an unsweetened orange, right?
Yeah, I feel like you're trying to lead me down.
No, I don't want to lead. No, I would never.
It's okay.
I would never lead you down the flavor trail. No, really, the flavor trail is one place. You too. Thank you so much. Always friendly people here at the Crooked Can. So then, how do you sum it up? Very slightly sweet orange with a touch of bitter.
Hops, not very bitter.
Not very complex. Pretty light-bodied.
I'm not a huge pale ale IPA person, but this is pretty good.
And again,
I would get it again.
And we're basically using it to wash down the buffaloes.
And it's working.
The buffalo burn before we do a tasting of the. Did we say what beer we were going to do, or are we leaving it as a surprise? What kind of style? We'll just leave it at that. All right, so we're going to finish this Workaholic Pale Ale, orange, slightly bitter ale, and we'll check back in a few after we get the beer that we actually wanted to do a tasting for. See you soon. Cheers. they sell cigars
Oh,
here.
we're on.
Do you want to buy a cigar? You mean cigars that are cigars that are sold in cigar boxes, as in cigar box purses? So what's the name of the beer we have, Karen?
Cherry cheeks.
Cherry Cheeks.
Cherry cheeks.
So I went to the bar. I ordered 2 cherry cheeks. I went to the bartender and said, I want 2 cherry cheeks. He went, 2 cherry cheeks? And I said, yes. And he's like, but I hardly know you. That seemed random and odd. Karen thinks it might be a reference to a movie. I didn't get the reference, so I thought it was just really, really strange.
He said, I've been waiting all day to use that line.
And then he said, I've been waiting all day to use that line.
We're going to find out.
And so I just kissed him square on the cheek and took my beer. No, I really didn't.
No, you didn't.
Or maybe I did. We've got a Flanders Red. And it's a Flanders Red. It's a low ABV. It's like only 3.8% ABV.
Yeah.
So we can drink these all day and
All
twice
day.
today. Oh, twice on Sunday because today's Sunday. You're probably not watching this on Sunday. Anyways, it's a Flanders Red, 3.8% ABV here from the Crooked Can, and it's called Cherry Cheeks. Flanders Red, I think the style gets its name, or some people say it gets its name from West Flanders in Belgium. It's a sour. I guess it's differentiated. Did I say that word right?
Differentiated.
Differentiated from a lambic by not having wheat, where a lambic has wheat, and a lambic is spontaneously fermented or open fermented, wild yeasts, all that stuff. Lactobacillus, Brettanomyces, all that crazy bug stuff that makes a beer sour. I think the Flanders Red is known to be very controlled. They put exactly what they want in it to sour it, so I'm assuming in a place like this it's kettle soured, so they put a little Lactobacillus in there and make it sour. Karen is not a big sour person.
That is so not true. You say that all the time. It's not.
No, you know what? It's the sours like the farmhouse saison.
Particular sours.
It's those Belgian sours that wild ferment that have all that crazy, funky, earthy stuff. So this might be up your alley because it's like simply soured. We'll say they use like one specific strain to sour it. And again, I think the Flanders name comes from a part of Belgium. It's also known as a Flemish Red or a Flemish Brown, same style. Cherry Cheeks.
Cherry cheeks.
Cherry Cheeks.
Flanders Red.
Flanders Red.
Going in?
Let's go in.
Going in.
Cheers.
Cheers.
We're gonna smell it first.
So he is. I'll smell it and then taste it.
Oh, little dark fruity like. Oh, and it said you already drank it. I'll talk in a minute.
Right?
Ooh, I would describe it immediately as a little bit sour, dark goodness.
Sour what?
Dark goodness, because it's like the dark fruit side. So it said that it was aged on cherry puree. Is that what it says? Look over my shoulder and see what the sign says. Do you need glasses?
Yes. Aged on fresh cherry puree.
Fresh cherry.
Right.
Because beers that are aged on old cherry puree they're just not my thing. But this is aged on fresh cherry puree. So my question was, is puree we just threw the cherries in a big old blender before we did it? What's a puree? Just chopped up, like whipped up.
Cherries.
So as opposed to like whole or just cut cherries, they blended them in a blender to some gooey mess and then aged it on that.
Evidently.
Okay, I was just checking. Not as sour as many of the sours we embark upon. I think it's sometimes I want a sour that just punches me right in the throat, but this sometimes I don't. This is just sour enough to be a sour.
Yeah, I love it.
It's definitely cherry or dark fruit like some dark fruits, but it gives me that. When I taste it, I picture a fruit with a dark skin, red grape, and I think the Flanders Red or Flemish Red style is compared to a red wine sometimes. But the flavor I get, I picture a dark skin fruit, cherry, purple grapes or red grapes. just enough sour. The souring level is perfect. It stays a little behind, just a little right here. As many times we describe like.
Get like a teeny. It's gonna sound crazy. Teeny tiny bit of chocolate, like
a little bit of chocolate. Well, is that because maybe you're thinking like chocolate covered cherries?
I don't
Maybe.
Know.
I don't get the chocolate.
It's just me.
You know, I tried to reach for it because you said that, but I don't think I get chocolate. But you could very well get chocolate. Oh, this is really good.
It's really good. Yeah.
It's a really dark copper color, maybe dark red.
Darker than copper.
So it's like a dark rust
copper
color.
Is like an orangey. Yeah.
So what's the color then?
Dark red.
Very dark red.
Let's not overthink it. It's dark red.
We're not overthinking it. It's dark red. Ended at that. And the nose is. It's just
subtle.
It's just a subtle touch of a
Really
sour. Like you
subtle.
know it's a sour. If you didn't know what kind of beer this was, the minute you smelled it, you'd say, "Oh, it's a sour." Okay, I really like it.
I really like it too.
All right, we're at the Crooked Can in Winter Garden, Florida. We've been here a few times. We like it. We're going to enjoy our sours, and then. So I wonder, where are we going to next for our next beer tasting? No idea.
No idea. Could be anywhere.
We don't know. Could be anywhere. But you know what?
What?
If people subscribed or hit the notification button, they'd know when we showed up somewhere else to do a beer taste. They'd know.
Pop right up.
And they wouldn't miss it.
Say, look where they are
It
now.
could be somewhere good, right?
No.
Or they could just click away from this video and not know and miss something good, right?
So sad.
That would be so sad. Till the next beer tasting, I'm Kevin.
I'm Karen.
Cheers.